The forest was alive with strange sounds. The air was heavy and wet, and the trees rose high like towers of shadow. Their long roots twisted out of the ground, and their branches moved even when there was no wind. Soft blue lights glowed on the plants, and insects with shining wings buzzed in the dark. It was not Earth. It was a world far away, wild and full of secrets. A man walked slowly through this alien night. His boots pressed into the wet ground, and each step made a soft crunch. He was a human explorer, sent to study this place, but his heart beat fast. He had traveled many worlds, but this forest felt different. It felt alive, as if the shadows were watching him. His hand stayed close to the metal tool on his belt. His eyes moved left, then right. He trusted nothing. Then the silence broke. A cry, sharp and full of fear, cut through the trees. It was the voice of a child. The sound echoed high and desperate, like a call for help. The man stopped at once, his breath caught in his throat. A child here? His mind rushed with questions. Humans had no colonies here. He had seen no other people. So whose child was this? The cry came again, closer this time. My mom's foot hurts, human. My alien mother fell into a savage trap. The man froze. His blood turned cold. The voice had said human. That meant whoever cried out already knew what he was. But how? He had only just arrived on this world. Nobody should know he was here. Was this real? Or was it a trick? He stood very still, listening. The forest answered with whispers of leaves, with buzzing wings, and then silence. Only silence. The night pressed close around him, heavy with mystery. He whispered to himself, "It's a trap. It has to be." Still his feet did not move away. They moved forward. The explorer pushed past the thick plants, careful not to make noise. He followed the direction of the cry, step by slow step. His eyes searched the darkness, and his ears waited for another sound. Sweat ran down his back, even though the air was cool. His heart beat louder than his steps. Then he heard it again, weaker this time. "Please help. My mom's foot hurts. Human, come fast." This time the voice trembled with tears. It was not the voice of a machine, not the voice of a trick. It was small. It was broken. It was a child. The man's chest tightened. Against his own fear, he walked faster now, pushing through thick vines and glowing plants. The forest seemed to close around him, and strange eyes flashed in the dark. But he ignored them. Something inside him told him the voice was true. And then he saw movement. In the pale glow of the plants, a small figure stood between the roots of a giant tree. The figure was thin, with skin that shone faintly like silver. Its eyes were large, glowing softly in the night, and its cheeks were wet with tears. The child looked no older than 10. Not human. Not from Earth, but still, a child. The man stopped a few steps away, his hand on his belt. The child looked up at him with wide, wet eyes. Its voice shook as it cried, "Please, human, my mom is hurt. She fell in a trap. She cannot move. You must come. You must help her." The forest was silent now. Only the child's small sobs filled the air. The man did not speak. His mind raced. Why did the child call him human? How did it know? He studied the child's face. He saw fear, he saw hope, no lies. But still, danger could hide behind innocence. He spoke at last, his voice low. "Where is she?" The child pointed with a shaking hand deeper into the forest. Its eyes glowed brighter with tears. "This way. Please, before it is too late." The man hesitated. Every instinct told him to be careful. This could lead him into death. But his heart pushed against his fear. Could he leave a child alone in the night crying for its mother? Could he walk away? He took a slow breath. Then he stepped forward. "Show me," he said. The child's face lit with hope, and it ran ahead between the glowing plants. Its small steps made no sound. The man followed, his eyes sharp, his hand never leaving his belt. The forest seemed to breathe with them, its lights glowing and fading as they passed. The trees whispered, and far away something howled. But the man kept moving. Deeper and deeper they went, and the night grew colder. Shadows bent around them, and the air smelled of iron, sharp and strange. Each step carried him further from safety, closer to the unknown. The child looked back once, its glowing eyes full of fear and trust. "Please, human," it said softly. "Do not let her die." The man gave no answer. His face was hard, his eyes narrow. But inside, he felt the weight of the moment. Whatever waited ahead, his life was already tied to theirs. And then from the darkness ahead came a low groan of pain. The man stopped. His heart pounded. The sound was deep, heavy, and strong. Not the cry of a child. The cry of something much larger. The child whispered, "That is my mom." The forest seemed to hold its breath. The man stepped forward into the unknown. The groan came again, heavy and filled with pain. It rolled through the trees like thunder in the distance. The man's step slowed. His eyes stayed sharp and his hand never left the tool on his belt. He had heard many sounds on many worlds, but this sound was different. It was strong, alive, and dangerous. The child stopped near a tall tree half hidden by the roots that curled like giant snakes. Its glowing eyes turned back to him. "She is there," the child whispered. "My mom, please, do not be afraid." But the man was afraid. Every muscle in his body was tight, every thought screaming caution. Yet still he moved closer. The forest seemed to lean in with him, as if it too was waiting to see what he would do. Through the thick vines and shadows he saw her. The alien mother lay on the ground, one leg trapped in a cruel device. The trap was made of sharp metal jaws biting deep into her flesh. Dark blood oozed into the soil, and the smell of iron filled the air. Her body was tall and powerful, her skin shining faint silver like the child's but scarred and rough with age. Her chest rose and fell slowly, each breath heavy with pain. Her eyes opened when she heard them. They were large, bright, and burning with suspicion. When her gaze landed on the human, a low growl rose from her throat even in her weakness. It was a warning, deep and wild. The child rushed forward, falling to its knees beside her. "Mom, I brought him. A human, he will help you." The small voice broke with hope and fear. The child touched her arm gently as if to calm her. The alien mother's growl grew louder. Her eyes locked on the man, sharp as blades. She tried to rise, but the trap pulled her back down, the metal biting deeper. She hissed in pain, and the forest echoed with her cry. The man froze where he stood. His mind raced. He could feel her strength even in her broken state. If he went too close, she could strike him down before he could defend himself. She did not trust him. She saw him as an enemy, and maybe she was right to the trap. He looked at it again. Its design was crude, not advanced, almost primitive. But the metal was strong, too strong for the child to break, maybe too strong for the mother to escape. It was not natural. It was made. But by who? Not humans, at least not the kind he knew. He was the only one of his kind here, unless... He swallowed hard. "I can help," he said finally, his voice calm but firm. "But she must let me." The child looked at him with wide eyes. "Please, Mom. He is different. He will save you." The mother's growl softened, but only slightly. Her breathing was rough, her strength fading. She looked at the human with eyes full of warning, full of old wounds, full of history he could not yet understand. Slowly, her growl turned into a low hiss. It was not acceptance, but it was not rejection either. The child looked back at him. "She will not stop you. But you must be careful." The man stepped forward, one slow step, then another. His boots pressed into the wet ground, his shadow falling over the alien mother. She did not move. Her eyes followed him, sharp and unblinking. The child held her hand tightly, whispering something in a language he did not know. He knelt beside the trap. The metal jaws were cruel, jagged, and deep. He pulled out his tool, a sharp device with glowing edges. He studied the lock. It was old, rusted, but strong. He could open it, but it would not be easy. The mother growled again as the tool touched the trap. Her hand moved, claws long and sharp, ready to strike. The child cried out, "No, Mom!" "Let him." For a long moment, no one moved. The forest itself went quiet, as if holding its breath. Then slowly, her hand fell back. Her eyes narrowed but stayed locked on him. The man began to work. The tool hissed softly as it cut into the old lock. Sparks flickered. The jaws creaked. Each sound made the mother's body tense, made her growl deep in her chest. The child whispered softly, calming her, begging her to stay still. The man's hands worked fast but careful. Sweat ran down his face. He knew that one wrong move could mean death. Not from the trap, but from the alien mother who watched every move with deadly suspicion. Finally, the lock gave a loud snap. The jaws loosened slightly. The mother cried out in pain, her body shaking. Blood spilled thicker now, the wound fresh and raw. The child shouted, "Hold on, Mom." The man pulled harder, forcing the jaws apart. His muscles burned. The trap fought him, but he would not stop. The metal screeched, sparks flying. At last, with one final push, the jaws sprang open. The mother's leg fell free. She roared in pain, the sound shaking the trees. Birds burst from the branches, and strange glowing animals scattered into the night. The man fell back, breathing hard, his tool smoking in his hand. The mother tried to rise, but her leg gave way, blood pooling beneath her. She fell back with a heavy thud. Her chest rose and fell fast, her eyes burning with fury and something else, something he could not name. The child clung to her, crying, "You are free! You are free." The man stood slowly, his eyes scanning the forest. That roar, it had been loud, too loud. It would bring things he did not know. And then in the distance, he heard it, a sound, soft, metallic, the click of another trap being set. He turned his head sharply, eyes narrowing into the dark. Someone else was here, watching. The forest was not silent anymore. The roar of the alien mother had woken it. In the distance, wings flapped, branches cracked, and glowing eyes blinked between the trees. The air itself seemed to tremble, as if the jungle was waiting for blood. The man stood straight, his tool still warm in his hand. He looked at the alien mother. Her chest rose and fell fast. Her leg was free, but the wound was deep. Blood soaked the soil beneath her, dark and thick. She was powerful but broken now, and her eyes, still burning, never left him. The child clung to her side. Its silver face was wet with tears, glowing faintly in the dim light. "You saved her," it whispered, voice shaking. "You saved my mom." But the man did not answer. His ears were sharp, listening. That sound he had heard before, the metallic click, still rang in his memory. He scanned the shadows between the trees. Someone had placed the trap. Someone was still near. The alien mother moved suddenly, trying to rise. Pain cut through her body, and she fell back with a low cry. She struck the ground with her claws in anger, her pride wounded as much as her flesh. Her voice came out rough and sharp, broken but strong. "Human." She spat the word like a weapon. "Why free me? Do you think I will thank you?" The man's jaw tightened. "I don't care for thanks," he said. His voice was calm, steady. "But a trap like this, it wasn't made by accident. Someone is hunting." The child looked at him quickly, eyes wide with fear. "They always hunt. They do not stop. They hate us." The man knelt by the trap he had broken. His hands touched the sharp jaws. The metal was cold, heavy, and old. Rust clung to it, but its bite was still cruel. He studied the shape. Not alien. Too sharp, too brutal. Human design, but not from him. Not from any explorers he knew. He muttered softly, almost to himself, "This is not the work of beasts. This is the work of men," the mother hissed, her voice low. "Your kind." The words cut like a blade. He looked up, meeting her burning eyes. For a moment they stared at each other in silence. Her with fury, him with doubt. He wanted to deny it, but in his heart he was not sure. Humans had made many mistakes on many worlds. Was this another? Before he could speak, a loud crack split the night. The ground shook as something large moved between the trees. Branches snapped. The child gasped and clutched tighter to its mother. The man's hand flew to his belt, gripping his weapon. From the darkness, a shape appeared. It was not a creature of the forest. It was a machine, tall, made of black metal, its legs bent sharp like blades, its body covered with wires and spikes. A single red eye glowed in the middle of its head, and in its claws it carried more traps. The child screamed. The mother bared her teeth and tried to rise, but pain dragged her back down. The machine dropped one of the traps onto the ground with a heavy clang, its red eye fixed on them. Then it stepped closer. The man felt his heart pound. This was no wild accident. The traps were placed by machines. But who had built them? Who controlled them? The mother growled, voice full of rage. "Hunters. They come for us, always." The man lifted his weapon, aiming steady at the machine. He had seen many kinds of technology, but this one was twisted, brutal, built for pain. It was not here to study, not here to protect. It was here to kill. The machine moved fast, dropping another trap with a snap. Its claws spread wide, ready to strike. The ground shook with its steps. The man fired. A bright flash lit the forest. The shot struck the machine's chest, sparks exploding. It staggered back, screeching in a sound like tearing metal. The child cried out, covering its ears. The mother pushed the child under her arm, shielding it even as her leg bled. The man fired again. Another burst of sparks. The machine shrieked, its red eye flickering, but it did not fall. It lurched forward, claws cutting deep lines into the ground. The man stepped back, his teeth clenched. This was no simple hunter. It was built to endure. The mother roared from the ground, her voice shaking the trees. She threw a stone with her claw, hitting the machine's leg. It stumbled for a second, just enough. The man leapt forward, slashing with his glowing tool. He cut across one of its claws, sparks flying. The machine reeled back, screeching louder, its voice echoing through the whole jungle. And then silence. The red eye flickered once, twice, then went dark. The machine collapsed with a heavy crash, smoke rising from its broken body. The forest was quiet again, but not calm. The silence was thick, waiting. Because one machine meant there were more. The child peeked out from under its mother's arm, eyes wide with both fear and wonder. You killed it. The man breathed hard, lowering his weapon. His voice was cold. No, I stopped it. For now. The mother's eyes were sharp as knives. There will be others. You do not understand. They will never stop. And now. She looked at him with fire in her gaze. They will come for you too. The man glanced at the broken machine, its claws still holding a trap. He felt the weight of her words. Whoever sent these machines was not hunting only aliens. They were hunting everything. And in that moment, under the strange lights of the alien forest, he realized something he did not want to believe. He was no longer the hunter. He was prey. The forest smelled of smoke and blood. The broken machine lay in pieces, its red eye dim, its claws twisted in the soil. But even as its body cooled, the man knew the fight was not over. Machines never hunted alone. Where there was one, more would come. He wiped sweat from his brow and looked at the alien mother. She was still on the ground, breathing heavy, her leg bleeding into the dirt. Her silver skin glowed faintly under the blue light of the plants. She looked like both a queen and a beast, proud even in pain. The child sat beside her, holding her arm tight. You see? The child whispered, looking up at her with wide, glowing eyes.
He helped us.
He killed it. But the mother did not answer the child. Her eyes stayed fixed on the man. They burned with suspicion, with anger, with something deeper. To her, he was still a stranger. To her, he was still human. She hissed low, her voice rough but strong. Why do you fight your own machines? Why free me from the trap? What is your game, human? The man's jaw tightened. He looked at her wound, then at the dead machine. His voice came out steady but cold. I have no game. I don't know who built these things. But I know this, if they hunt you, they will hunt me too. And I don't like being prey. The mother's lips curled, showing sharp teeth. You expect me to believe you are not with them? The trap was human-made. The machine was forged by human hands. Do not lie. The child tugged at her arm, tears in its voice. Mom, stop. He saved us. If he wanted to hurt you, he would have left you there. He would have let the trap kill you. The man crouched low, meeting the mother's gaze without fear. Listen, you don't trust me, I don't blame you. But right now, trust is not a choice. If we fight each other, the machines win. If we don't move soon, more will find us. The forest groaned as if to prove his words. Far away, a metallic echo rang through the trees, faint but sharp. Another machine. Maybe two. The child flinched and held its mother tighter. The mother's claws dug into the ground. Her eyes stayed locked on the man. Silence stretched between them, heavy and sharp as a blade. Finally she spoke, her voice cold as stone. I will not crawl beside you like an ally. I do not trust your kind. But my child. Her eyes softened for a brief moment as she looked down at the small figure pressed against her. My child believes in you, and for that alone I will not strike you. The man nodded slowly. It was not trust, but it was something. Then let's move before it's too late. He reached into his pack and pulled out a small device. It glowed faintly, casting white light. This will help slow the bleeding. But I need her leg free of dirt. The mother growled, baring her teeth again. Do not touch me. The child looked up at her, pleading. Mom, please. If you die, I will be alone. Let him help. Her eyes closed for a moment. She let out a sharp breath, heavy with pride and pain. At last she gave a small nod. The man moved closer, careful, his every step watched by her burning eyes. He cleaned the wound as best he could, pressing the device against her skin. A soft hum filled the air and the bleeding slowed. The mother hissed in pain but did not strike. The child held her hand the whole time, whispering comfort. When it was done, the man leaned back. It won't heal her. Not fully, but it will keep her alive long enough to move. The mother looked down at her leg, then back at him. Her gaze was still sharp, but something new flickered in her eyes. Not trust, not yet, but maybe respect. The silence was broken by a sound that chilled them all. A long, low horn echoed through the forest. It was not a machine. It was something else, a signal, a call. The man's face hardened. They're not just hunting with machines. Someone is guiding them. The child shivered, pressing close to its mother. They know we are here. The mother tried to rise again. She leaned on the tree, her claws digging deep into the bark. With the child's help, she managed to stand, though her wounded leg shook beneath her. She looked taller now, even in pain, her eyes fierce as fire. Her voice was rough but proud. I will not die in the dirt. If they want me, they will face me standing. The man looked at her, then at the child. His hand tightened on his weapon. He spoke quietly, almost to himself. Then we stand together. For now. The mother turned her gaze on him, her eyes like burning coals. Do not mistake this for friendship, human. If you betray us, I will kill you myself. The man gave a short nod. Fair enough. The forest around them seemed to grow darker. The glowing plants dimmed and the shadows stretched long. In the distance, the sound of metal footsteps began to rise again, slow and heavy. The child clung to its mother, whispering, They are coming. The man lifted his weapon. The mother bared her teeth. The forest held its breath, and together, enemy, stranger, and child, they waited for the hunters to arrive. The forest shivered with danger. The sound of metal steps grew louder, echoing through the trees like drums of war. The broken machine on the ground smoked quietly, but its death had already sent a signal. More were coming. The man stood ready, his weapon glowing faintly in his hands. His eyes scanned the shadows, his muscles tense. He had fought machines before on other worlds, but never like these. These were not scouts. These were hunters. Beside him, the alien mother leaned against the thick tree trunk, her chest rising and falling hard. Her wounded leg shook beneath her. Pride burned in her eyes, but pain dragged her down. The child held her tightly, looking up at her with glowing tears. The mother growled low, her voice full of fire. I will not run. I will face them here. The man shook his head sharply. If you stay, you die. They want you weak and bleeding. That's why the traps are here. You fight them now, they win. The child turned its wide eyes to her. Mom, please. We can't stay. Please come with us. For a long moment, the mother's pride and pain battled inside her. Then slowly, with a heavy breath, she gave a single nod. The man stepped forward quickly, pulling one of her arms over his shoulder. Her weight pressed hard on him, her claws sharp even as she leaned. He almost buckled under her strength, but he steadied himself. Move, he said firmly. Together they stepped forward into the thick forest. The child ran close by, holding her other hand. The night was alive with strange lights, but darker now, as if the forest itself feared the hunters. Behind them, the sound of metal grew sharper. Branches cracked. The hunters were close. The man pushed through vines and roots, guiding the mother's steps. Each movement was slow, heavy, but she did not fall. Her pride would not let her, even as blood dripped from her wound. The child whispered between breaths, They always come. They never stop, the man answered, his voice low but steady. Then we don't stop either. A sudden screech cut through the night. A red light flashed between the trees. Another machine stepped out from the shadows. This one was larger. Its claws were wider, sharper. Its red eye glowed like fire. The man's heart raced. They could not fight here, not with her wounded, not with more coming. Run, he shouted. The mother's growl turned into a roar as she forced herself to move faster. Each step tore pain through her body, but she kept going. The child clung to her hand, running beside her. The man stayed at her other side, weapon ready, eyes sharp. The machine lunged, metal legs cutting deep into the soil. Its claws snapped open, ready to strike. The man fired. A flash of light burst through the dark, hitting its chest. Sparks flew, but the machine did not fall. It shrieked, a sound like tearing steel, and kept coming. They ran, the forest closed in around them, branches tearing at their clothes, roots tripping their steps. The mother stumbled, but the man held her steady. The child pulled at her hand, shouting, This way, Mom! This way! Another screech behind them. Another red eye glowing. 2 machines now. The man's breath came hard. His mind raced. He knew they could not outrun them forever. The mother's leg was slowing them down. They burst into a clearing where the glowing plants shone brighter, casting pale blue light. Strange insect wings buzzed in the air. The ground here was wet, soft, almost like a swamp. The mother's leg gave way. She fell to one knee, roaring in pain. The child cried out, wrapping arms around her. The man spun, raising his weapon as the first machine crashed into the clearing. Its red eye burned, its claws spread wide. He fired again. The blast struck its head, sparks flying. The machine staggered but did not fall. The second machine burst through the trees behind it, shrieking. The man's chest tightened. 2 of them. "Too many," he shouted over his shoulder. "Get down!" The mother pulled the child under her, shielding it with her body. Her teeth bared, her eyes blazing even in pain. The man ran forward, charging the first machine. His weapon flared bright, cutting across its claw. Sparks exploded, metal screeched. The machine swung at him, its claw missing his head by inches. He rolled aside, firing again into its chest. The second machine lunged for the mother and child. She roared, her claws flashing despite her wound. She slashed at its leg, sparks flying, forcing it back for a moment. But pain tore through her body and she fell again, blood spilling fresh. The child screamed. "Mom!" The man turned, firing at the second machine. The shot hit its side, smoke bursting out. It screeched, stumbling, but the first machine was already rising again. His lungs burned. His arms shook, but he did not stop. He stood between the machines and the family, his weapon glowing bright. The machines circled him, their claws dripping with oil and dirt. Their red eyes burned into him. He could hear more sounds in the distance, more hunters coming. The mother's voice rose behind him, rough but strong. "Human!" He glanced back. Her eyes blazed, her teeth sharp, her body trembling with pain. She bared her claws, even broken, even bleeding. "Do not fall," she growled. "If you fall, my child dies." The man tightened his grip on the weapon. His chest rose and fell hard. He faced the machines again, his voice low but fierce. "Then I don't fall." The clearing filled with light as he fired, the battle raging against the dark forest. The battle in the clearing left the night broken. Smoke drifted through the glowing plants and the ground was torn with claw marks and burned soil. The 2 machines lay in pieces, sparks hissing from their broken bodies. The forest was quiet again, but it was not peace. It was the silence before the next storm. The man stood still, his chest rising and falling heavy. His weapon smoked in his hands, its glow fading slowly. His arms trembled, but he forced himself steady. His eyes scanned the dark trees, waiting for more red lights, waiting for the sound of metal steps. But for now, nothing came. Behind him, the alien mother leaned against a thick root, her leg still bleeding through the quick patch he had given her. The child pressed close to her, small hands glowing faintly on her arm, whispering soft words in their strange language. She growled low, angry at her own weakness, but her eyes stayed sharp, watching him. The man finally turned, his voice low but steady. "We can't stay here. More will come," the mother bared her teeth. "They always come." The child looked at him with wide, tearful eyes. "They do not stop, human. The machines are only tools. Someone sends them. Someone wants us dead." The man froze at those words. His mind went back to the trap's old human-like design. He looked at the broken machines. Their wires, their crude shapes, their brutal claws. These were not advanced explorers' machines. These were hunters' machines. His voice was sharp. "Who? Who is sending them?" The mother's eyes narrowed and she gave a low, bitter laugh. "Do you not know? Are they not your own kind?" The man shook his head firmly. "No, I came here alone. No colony, no army. I've seen human weapons, these." He looked at the broken machine's claw. "These are twisted, too cruel even for us." The mother hissed, her pride wounded. "Cruelty is a human gift. Do not act blind." The child touched her hand gently, whispering, "Mom, maybe he's different." The forest groaned with strange noises. In the distance, something moved, heavy, slow, but far away. Not yet close. The man crouched near the broken machine, his hands digging into its chest. He pulled out a small black core, glowing faint red. It pulsed like a heart. He studied it, his eyes narrowing. "This isn't just a machine," he muttered. "It's controlled, remote. Someone is watching us right now." The child gasped, stepping closer. "Watching?" The man held up the core, its glow reflecting in his tired eyes. "Yes, wherever they are, they see what this sees. They know you. They know me now." The mother's eyes burned hotter. Her claws scraped against the dirt. "Then they know you fight beside us. That makes you their enemy too." The man slipped the core into his pack. His jaw was tight, his mind racing. "Good, let them know. If they want a war, they'll find one." The mother's voice came out low, almost a growl. You speak with fire, human, but words do not stop them. The child looked between them, its voice trembling. Then what do we do? The man stood slowly, looking deep into the forest. His eyes narrowed, his face hard. We find them. Whoever controls these machines. We find the hunters before they find us. The mother gave a rough laugh, bitter and broken. You speak like a fool. You do not know this land. You do not know their numbers. You would walk into the jaws of death. The man met her gaze without fear. Better to walk into their jaws than wait for them to close on us. The silence between them was sharp as a blade. The forest hummed faintly with strange lights, insects buzzing, plants glowing. The child broke the silence, its voice small but certain. He is right, Mom. If we hide, they find us. If we run, they follow. But if we go to them? The child's glowing eyes looked up, full of fear but also hope. Maybe we stop them. The mother's chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. Pride and anger burned in her, but so did the truth. Slowly, painfully, she pushed herself up against the root. Standing tall even on her broken leg, her voice was deep, rough, but steady. If we do this, human, it will not be for you. It will be for my child, for my people. The man gave a single nod. Then we have the same reason. The child's face lit with a faint glow of hope. But before the moment could last, a new sound cut through the night. A voice. Not human, not alien, not machine. A voice that came from everywhere and nowhere. It echoed through the trees, cold and sharp like metal scraping stone. I see you. The man froze, his hand flying to his weapon. The mother bared her teeth, claws ready despite her wound. The child clung to her, eyes wide with terror. The voice came again, hollow and cruel. Run if you like. Hide if you can. But know this, human. You chose your side, and for that you will die with them. The forest fell silent again, heavy and dark. The man looked at the mother. Her burning eyes met his. No more suspicion. No more doubt, only the truth. There was a hidden enemy, and now it hunted them both. The forest held its breath. The cold voice still echoed in their ears, heavy and cruel. You chose your side. You will die with them. The man's grip tightened on his weapon. His heart hammered, but his face was hard, his eyes sharp. He had heard many threats in his life, but this one felt different. It was not just a warning. It was a promise. The alien mother stood tall, though her wounded leg trembled beneath her. The child clung to her side, glowing eyes full of fear. Yet even in her weakness, the mother's presence filled the clearing like fire. She bared her teeth, her claws flexing. Her voice was low, rough with pain, but strong with pride. They speak like gods, but they are cowards. Only shadows that hide behind machines. The man glanced at her. Shadows can kill. And they know us now. The mother's eyes narrowed, burning with fury. Then let them come. Let them see that even broken I do not bow. But the child's voice shook, soft and small. Mom, what if they find us before we find them? Silence followed. The truth of those words weighed heavy. The man crouched by the broken machines again. His hands worked fast, pulling wires, searching the cores. He found another one, faintly glowing, pulsing like a heart. He held it up, his jaw tight. This is how they see. This is how they track. If I break it, we buy time. But if I trace it, maybe we find them. The mother growled, suspicious. Or maybe they find you. The man met her burning eyes. They already have. For a long moment, they stared at each other. Then slowly, the mother looked down at her child. The small alien's glowing eyes were full of hope, watching the man. For the first time, the mother's gaze softened. Not trust, not yet, but something close. Do it, she said at last. The man set his tool against the core. Sparks hissed. The glow flickered, then dimmed. For a heartbeat, the forest was silent. Then a new sound rose. A horn, low, deep, and cold. It rolled through the trees like thunder. A call that shook the soil. It was not machine, not alien. It was human. The man's stomach turned cold. That sound, he knew it. Not from this world, but from his own past. From battlefields long forgotten. From wars fought by men. It was a human war horn. The mother's eyes widened. Her growl deepened. So it is your kind. The man's face hardened, his voice sharp. No, not mine. But human, yes. Someone brought war here. The forest shifted. Lights moved between the trees, not the red glow of machines, but fire. Torches, dozens. Figures stepped out of the dark. Human figures. Their armor was rough, patched with metal, painted with strange marks. Their eyes glowed faint under helmets, their faces hidden. Some carried traps, others long weapons. They moved like hunters, silent and cold. The child gasped and pressed against its mother. Humans! The mother's claws scraped the dirt, her teeth bared. I knew it. I knew your kind would come to finish us. The man lifted his weapon, standing in front of them both. His voice was low, fierce. They are not my kind. Not anymore. One of the armored figures stepped forward. His helmet gleamed in the torchlight. A strange mark painted across it. A black circle with a jagged claw through its center. His voice came out deep and cruel, the same voice that had spoken through the machines. You should not be here, traveler. This world is ours now. These creatures are prey. And you... His voice sharpened. You chose to stand with them. The man's weapon hummed as he raised it higher. If you hunt them, you hunt me. The leader's laugh was low and cold. He lifted a hand, and behind him the hunters spread out, torches lighting the trees in orange fire. The machines at their side whirred and clicked, ready to strike. You will regret those words, human, the mother growled, her voice like thunder. So will you. The child's small voice rose, trembling but strong. We will not bow to you. The forest shook as the hunters moved closer, their steps heavy, their machines screeching. The man stood tall, his weapon glowing bright in his hands. The alien mother leaned forward, claws ready despite her broken leg. The child pressed close to her side, eyes glowing with fire. 3 stood against many. The night burned with torches, with red eyes, with the sound of hunters closing in. And just as the clash was about to begin, the sky above them lit with a strange light. Blue fire streaked across the clouds, silent but fierce. The hunters stopped, their torches flickering. The machines froze, their eyes dimming for a heartbeat. The mother looked up, her eyes wide. The child gasped. The man's face hardened. He had seen that light before. Not here, not on this world. Somewhere far away. The leader of the hunters growled. It begins. The forest exploded with noise as the hunters charged. The machines shrieked, and the strange blue fire above the sky grew brighter, falling closer. The battle and the truth was only beginning.